so it's kind of about that journey home and about having to return to something and having to do something because it's kind of built into us.
It's in our genetic makeup.
Yeah, absolutely.
What gets in the way of humans? I mean, we have to attend social functions or something. Or we have to go to the football.
I think it's about the pursuit of happiness. For me, it's sort of about that pursuit of happiness that we think if we have a family and if we have a job and if we have money and if we are comfortable and if we have peace, we'll all be happy. And I think what we're sort of discovering is that, well, that's not necessarily the case. That, you can have all these things in place, but you can still be completely miserable and incredibly confused. And so it's sort of a black comedy that sort of explores, these 8 people who are kind of all longing for something.
Is there a contextual time and place that we need to know about?
Not really. It's sort of relevant to everyone. I mean, it's set in Germany. The translator, Mayazade, translated it, but didn't, replace it in England or America or anything. Okay. So, it's set in Germany, but we're all speaking English.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And tell us about the cast. I mean, I was just looking through some of the names there, and you're saying it's how do you put together 8 people who are all going to work together well? I mean, what's the process for auditioning them?
The casting process for something like that's really difficult, but essentially I started with a fabulous gentleman called Garth Holcomb. I've worked with Garth a couple of times, and I just think he's absolutely brilliant and a comic genius. So I sort of started with him, and then, much like you'd put together a puzzle, kind of found people that... Yeah. Essentially, for me, it was about finding 8 people who are an ensemble who work well together because they're all on stage the entire time. They have to be in each other's rhythms and they have to be able to work well together, and there's long sections where they're on stage but not necessarily talking, but still contributing to the narrative.
As a director, and I ask you as an actor, do you notice that when something's not right, like it's too late to change, you've got a bunch of actors and one of them doesn't really like the other one after a while? I mean, what happens then?
It's not professional. I mean, obviously, if you're professional, you just deal with that stuff.
Yes.
And you just put it on the best show you possibly can. But I mean, it's rare that you would say, this show has been destroyed. Usually, what happens is the director has got great instincts and will get a cast together. Occasionally, you see something and you kind of go, well.
I think one of the things that you often see in productions is people who aren't in the same production. Right. You've got 8 people on stage and someone's in a farce and someone's in a tragedy.
Yes.
I feel like with this we've done because we've spent good 4 weeks together and we've been working together so well. I feel like we're all in the same production.
Right.
And the ensemble
with Lawrence Coy?
Lawrence Coy's in the right production.
Has it been known for some directors to really antagonise the differences between actors to make it work for the production?
Yeah, well, some directors do that. They sort of want to work with people who don't get along because it creates some kind
tension.
of... I'm not into that.
No.
I'm not into that either, I've got to say.
Okay, we might play a tune, come back. Sarah Giles, our special guest, the Pigeon, stables up in Nemrod Street. We'll talk about that and more in just a moment. From Amiga Man, Sydney beat producer, this is Hip Drop, the latest single. Funky retro organs, some beats there, courtesy of a man called Mark Scully, a.k.a. Amiga Man. Hip Drop's his brand new single. It does come with a whole bunch of remixes, though that is the original version. 18 after 10. This is FBI. My name is Stephen Ferris, and it is time for theatre. Well, it has been time for theatre. Terry Serio, our regular host here of Stage Fright, and Sarah Giles, the guest director of The Pigeon, which opens when at the stables?
We open on Friday.
This Friday coming?
Yep.
That means this is not a preview, it's an actual opening night. I mean, I know a preview is an opening for the public as well.
Well, so we open on Friday night officially, but we've got 2 previews where members of the public can come along, check it out in its early stages.
Okay, right.
We've actually got some... We can give away some double passes, can't we? Yeah, I'm very excited about that. So tell me, your contact... You said you had some contact with the playwright.
Yeah.
Is this something you do with some trepidation, or do you have a relationship?
We don't have a relationship. I'd love to have a relationship with him. I think he has the best sense of humour.
Married?
No. He's already married. Basically, I sort of got in touch with him through the Goethe Institute, which is the German cultural institute, and for their monthly magazine Culture, I basically did an interview with him, which is something you don't often get to do. I think a lot of people do. You don't get to have conversations with playwrights, particularly if they're overseas. And so we had a chat about the title, about where the play came from for him, and it was great to actually get into his head a little more.
Nice information, but did it help you with your direction?
I think so. I don't know. It was. I think that thing when you direct a show is you can do one of 2 things. You can either try and figure out exactly what the playwright was thinking, and try and put that on stage, or you can figure out what you think the play's trying to say and put that on stage. And so I think it's often a mistake to try and figure exactly out what's in that guy's head, as opposed to what your take on it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. The other thing, how have you incorporated music and set into this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the references for the music for me was, I don't know if you know that Girlfriend Experience. That's a film by Steven Soderbergh. He did this fabulous trailer which had just a guy drumming on the street. And it's fabulous. That sort of really sort of primal, fabulous busking music. And so, we're working towards the sound design that is sort of all about that kind of, sounds of desire, I guess, and that sort of drum beat. And the design, I've been working with a great designer called Renee Mulder. And, we've sort of created in that very small Griffin space a slightly smaller, even more claustrophobic.
Good Lord.
Yeah. I figure if it's small, make it smaller.
Yeah. I marvel at designers changing a very small space into something
absolutely
completely different. I mean, I saw Quack in there recently, and the space was transformed into like a tent show thing. It was just a beautiful piece of work in the design. But so you've cramped it up.
Yeah. Well, it's actually it looks bigger than I've seen it look for ages. I don't know how we've done it, but actually, I think it has to do with the lighting design as well. The lights are kind of incorporated into the set, so it actually looks like it's not lit with theatrical lights necessarily. Kind of, you'd walk in and it looks like you're looking at a real room.
Sarah, can I ask, what is the set?
The set is, it's quite simple. It's green carpet, a sort of enormous couch, and a roof. There's sort of lights that come from a roof, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
With 8 people on stage, they kind of create they kind of create the set for you as well. So it's very simple and elegant.
Okay. And of course now the Griffin has been remodelled, so it's
they've redone the foyer.
Yeah, I almost got lost in there. I kind of walked in and went, "What? Where am I? What's
what is this place?
What is this place?"
Yeah. It looks like obviously it's a heritage listed building. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
And not much you can do with the actual structure itself. Surely you just got to work with the interiors and make it a little bit more functional, which is what happened during the last year, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, they've just tried to make the foyer a bit bigger and more accessible, and I think they've got big plans. I think they're going to try and bash down one of the walls and have a courtyard, and they started something called Between the Lines, which is all I'm not entirely sure what it is.
We had Sam Strong in recently.
Was he talking about it?
He was talking about it, and he was talking about how they're going to open a cafe there.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good to, for theatre to
make it a hub.
Yeah, I think they should do more of that with the Seymour Centre, so
absolutely.
that is a real, I think you actually suggested one of your other great ideas, Stephen, because you're very civic-minded, is having some kind of market in there.
Yes.
And I think that would be great,
Yeah, well, not to mention most of these, or a lot of theatres only function at night, and really they could be daytime activities as well, whatever that may be, whether it's just food or, drink or whatever. But there you go. 10 Nimrod Street at the top of King's Cross, sort of up past the, the main building at the top. William Street, turn right. There's a little cul-de-sac there, can't miss it. It's a great little spot to go, and kicks off this Friday night.
Indeed.
Okay. And the previews out there?
Previews are tonight and Thursday night at 7 p.m.
How excellent.
Come along, be a test audience.
The Pigeon. Any queries, griffintheatre.com.au is a good place to go. I've got a phone number here. For bookings, it's 80024772. How old is this, the playwright? What age are we talking?
Late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah. So fairly young for a playwright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a great, by the way, Griffin, there's lots of places around there to eat. You can go to the Trop to have something to eat, a salad, or you go to any one of those myriad restaurants.
It's a good night out.
Then a stroll up the hill. Don't forget the shows start at 7.
Yeah, and the show's actually not long, so it goes for about an hour and 10. So you're out by 8:10.
So see the play first, eat second maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now we don't have a producer on hand, so we're going to do a giveaway.
Yep.
Terry, do you want details?
Oh yes. When are the tickets for, sir?
Either for Wednesday night or Thursday night.
Okay, good.
Either one of those two.
Well, let's make it Thursday night. It'll be easier for us on the phone. We'll have to ask less questions. So if you want to come tomorrow night, we've got 2 double passes.
FBI supporters only. 8332299. Don't ring right now. Wait till we get off air because we'll be answering the phone. 8332299. Sarah, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, wonderful. Good luck with the production. Sure you don't need it, but good luck.
Cheers.
Okay. This is El Gwyn Show. What's an album of the week for us? Pop Negro is the album.